Welcome to Shitface Sober, Jeff N.
And I'm Kyle.
And who do we got as our guest today?
Well, my name is Bear.
Bear.
And, my Christian name
Nice.
is Eugene Kitchell.
Yeah, you look like a
But,
Eugene.
Yeah?
Yeah, I don't know what it is.
I don't know, man. When I was growing up, Eugene was like the sucker name, you know? Like, it was like only nerds and serial
Did you get picked
killers.
on because of that?
No, somewhat. They had other ammunition other than my name.
Yeah.
You know, I grew up in Miami, and I wasn't. I grew up in one of the poor sections of Miami. Grew up in Liberty City, 15th Avenue, 69th Terrace, and grew up poor. I was the only boy. I have four sisters that I grew up with in the same household. My mother and my grandmother. So I had already the stigma that I was going to be a sissy.
Yeah.
So all the guys in the neighborhood, they try to help me. And my big sister, who's 8 years older than me, she had the job of trying to make sure that I wasn't a punk or a sissy. So what they used to do was affectionately whoop my ass as much as they could.
Damn. Just getting your ass beat by girls, man. That's like the opposite of making a man.
It's like, toughen up, shake it off, And
then you
or
go
I
to
get,
school.
Get fighting or whatever, and then if I start getting the best of her or whatever, she's like, okay, stop. I'm like, the light is green. I'm ready to go.
And then you go to school and start swinging on girls at school. And you're like, this is
know,
what I
it was-
do.
Sounds like a lose-lose situation. You're
Yeah.
getting beat up and you're getting beat up by a girl.
Yeah. Well, my sister was, she was tough, man. My big sister is tough. I
How
love
much
her
sober
to
time
death.
you got, Bear?
I have 9 years. As of June 6, 2023, I've celebrated 9 years of continuous, mind-altering substances. And I did it one day at a time by the grace of a God that I did not think cared for me at all when I first decided to get clean and sober. I didn't know I was, well, I can't say I didn't know I was an alcoholic because I drank alcoholically from the first time that I got drunk.
How old was that? How old were you?
I was
when you-
about 13, and there was the guys next door had a little DJ crew, and my voice started changing at about 12, 13, and I would listen to what they would say, and then I can say it back. I can mimic what they were doing. So, Miami had a different DJing style. What they would do would it would literally almost like rewrite the song.
Okay.
So it's like they'll take the last word of certain sentences, certain stanzas in the song, and they'll change it to fit, or they'll say this sentence. So when they would come up with clever stuff, and I would repeat it, and it was cool because you'll see this little kid come walking up there, and he's got this grown man ass voice on, and so people used to like that. But I've always had a love for music, so that just fit right with me. And one night after they had a little jam, they passed me a Schlitz malt liquor bull.
It just sounds.
Sounds
like it hurts.
It hurt, bro. It tastes like hot garbage. I don't know how long how long it been sitting there, but it was mine, and they gave it to me, and it was like, "Go ahead, it's yours." And I was like, "Okay." No. And I took that. You know that expanding foam, that the insulation
Yeah,
foam.
I
is?
do.
That's what it felt like in my mouth, like it just swirled over, and I choked that down. I did about 2 or 3 of those.
Yeah, because
And before
one
I
wasn't
knew-
enough.
Of course not. The first, it was nasty, but they told me to say, go ahead, Kenny. By the time I finished that can, man, everything was right with the world. Everything was right
I know
with the
that
world.
I
feeling.
know that feeling.
And I mean, I don't remember anything after the can. But we ended up going to like Pantry Pride, and I was in there cussing people out and knocking over displays and all of that stuff. So when they told me about everything the next day, I thought that was like the coolest shit ever. And I didn't start drinking on a regular basis until my senior year in high school. And but almost every time that I would drink, I would black out. And that should have gave me a hint that I had a problem, you know.
I relate with that, man.
Yeah.
I know. I've only been drunk like 100 times. I didn't drink that much because drugs are just cheaper. They're more efficient.
I can dig it.
Right? For $20, I can get fucked up on some drugs, but on booze, it's like it's expensive going out, you know?
Yeah.
But then trying to convince yourself that you're not an alcoholic, like it becomes difficult.
Yeah, the first time I heard the word alcoholic pertaining to like an actual person, they were talking about my grandmother.
Oh wow.
And my mother and my father were never married or anything. They were childhood friends, and after graduation, they went their separate ways as people do when you graduate from high school. And they just have happenstance. They met again about 10 years later, and hit it off again and became fast friends and even lovers at that point, I guess. And
who became lovers?
my mom and my dad.
Oh, okay. I thought you were
Yeah,
talking about your grandma still. I'm like, damn, she got late.
No, but it's not that freaky, bro. It's not that freaky.
I was like, grandma's out there alcoholic, and then she's getting
But
dating.
see, my grandmother was a little spitfire, bro.
Really?
Oh yeah, she was only about 4'11", maybe 5 feet.
Oh wow.
But she was bad to the bone, brother.
What'd she drink?
Oh, she drank whatever she wanted to drink.
Oh, I love that.
Yes. And
Whatever she wanted.
when I was born, I had 12 fingers.
Oh no
wow.
shit. Where's the missing one? I've
The
always
missing-
wondered.
What happened is that they were so closed-minded about things that the normal procedure was to tie the extra digit
So it falls off.
until it falls off.
Yeah, it's like a
So
tail.
they tied both of them, but the connection on the right hand was considerably less than the left hand. But when my mother told my father, said, you need to invite your mother here to see this baby. And when she got there, she was first of all amazed that anybody invited her anywhere, because at that point she was at her, near her bottom. And my mother inviting her, and when she saw me and saw these 12 fingers, her husband, my grandfather, was where I inherited them from. So it skipped my father, but it hit me.
Oh wow. Did he have all 12 or did
No,
he lose
he
it?
only had 10 fingers.
Damn it. Because I would be like, that's cool today.
Yeah.
Like as an
Yeah.
adult, you'd be like, dope, you can count to 12, man.
Yeah.
Like any groups of 12, I'm gonna be like, that's the guy.
Yeah,
you
but
know?
that hitting and missing, depending on who, like it ran on both sides of my
So
family.
your kids' sons, your grandkids would have 12 fingers.
Actually, my oldest daughter was 29. She had them.
Oh wow. So your daughter had them.
And my son still has both of his extra fingers.
So he has
We
6
removed
fingers?
my daughter's,
Okay.
but they didn't remove my son's.
That's cool.
And then my son's son had both of them, but he lost one of them because the connection was too, it wasn't substantial enough.
But your son was with 6 and 6. He can use all 6.
Well, they just.
Oh, they
little
got it.
extra
Got it.
little-
I was gonna say
Have
because
a nail and everything on it, so.
but now you start flipping people off, and now it's not the middle finger. It's
Yeah,
kinda like-
yeah.
Yeah, you gotta do one of these.
Little funny stuff like that I would do.
But
Back
Yeah.
to my grandmother, when she saw this little baby with the fingers like her husband who had passed away, she took it as a sign and she decided to get sober,
Oh wow.
Oh,
and
no
she
kidding.
died sober.
You're lying.
93 she died.
She AA sober or just straight?
You know what? I don't know,
Okay.
but I want to tell you that when we went to clean out her unit, that there was a book there that I want to say was a big book.
Nice.
So I don't know if if that's how she got sober or not. So I don't want to, put that out there like that. But I am grateful. That was the first time I heard the word alcoholic. The first time that I was physically around an alcoholic, it was my cousin Ronald. Being that I grew up asthmatic, I would miss school a lot.
Okay.
And I would be with my mother. My mother have to take me to the hospital and all of that stuff. But sometimes as we're riding, I remember the first time she did it, she was like, "Oh, there's your cousin Ronald." And I'm looking like, who, where? And there was this guy laying in a abandoned storefront. And she pulled over and went over and got him. And she put me in the back seat with him to make sure he doesn't fall over and hurt himself or whatever. He smelled so bad. Oh my God, he smelled so bad. But he just sat there and he cried, And all he would say was, I'm sorry. And I was like, I don't never want to be no alcoholic,
Yeah.
So, excuse me. I would have to go and get his clothes for him, and because being the only boy, my mom didn't want her girls being, exposed to, a wet drunk.
Yeah.
Because you never know what wet drunk is going to do.
Yeah. Freak out.
You never know what a wet drunk is going to do.
When did it change for you? About what age would you start recognizing that you're like, okay, I got a problem?
I never really had a problem with alcohol.
What about drugs?
No. I mean, I never. Other people had a problem with me drinking, but I didn't have a problem with me drinking, and that was their problem.
And when did that start?
Excuse me. That started, I would say, right out the gate. I probably did it before 21.
Oh wow. Yeah, I realized I had a problem.
Matter
when
of
I was
fact,
19.
I had to have done it before 21 because that's when I started going to jail.
Okay.
Yeah, I went to jail when I was about 20, 21 years
Yeah.
old.
What was the longest you went to
And,
jail for?
Only about 6 months or so.
Got it.
You
County.
know,
Just.
I did not like. I'm gonna tell you what broke me about jail. It wasn't fighting. It wasn't being told what to do and all of this stuff. They gave me a tray one time, and it had 2 cookies on it.
That's it.
And you were like, I'm done with
For
this.
for dessert was 2 cookies. It's like, what the fuck am I doing with these?
Yeah.
I don't give a kid 2 cookies. If I give a baby cookies, I'm gonna give 1 for each hand. I'm not a damn baby. I was like, yo, jail is not for me. So I made a pledge after I got, that first 6 months I had to do. I made a pledge like, look, I'm not messing with nothing that probation can't cover.
Mm-hmm.
That was it for me. But I mean, I would tell you, I started hanging. My first job was at the Miami Herald.
Okay.
In their gas station, and I would go across the street to this hotel it was a condominium called Plaza Venetia, and there was a place called Mike's in there, and I would sit there and I would go and hang out with all the big wigs and everything from the Miami Herald, and there were people there like the commissioner. His name was Arthur Till back then. I met like so many different celebrities there. I'm like 18 years old, bro. The legal drinking age was like 21. And this one guy went and told him that I was underage, but he didn't tell him how old I was. And I was when they confronted me, it was like, I'm 20.
And they let it slide.
So they threw a big ass party for me when I turned 21,
Oh God,
which was actually 19.
that's funny. That's tight.
If you go to Mike's, there's probably still like the last time I went there was like in 2005, and there was still a stack of cups like for my free drinks.
Oh, that's cool.
Really?
That many people were buying me drinks that night. It was a stack of cups up there on the shelf still.
Oh, man.
Yeah. So
So
yeah,
you always been a big guy? How tall are you, Bear?
I'm about 6'3".
Okay,
Yeah.
because I'm a big guy too, and it's just about like you're a fucking big guy. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
but you know, this is my first time in I would say about 15 years that I'm under 400 pounds.
Oh no shit.
Yeah.
So you've
I'm
always
like
been fucking
375,
stacked.
right? No, I was a tall, I wasn't very tall when I was a kid, but I was skinny,
Got you.
very skinny. And, but I started putting on this thickness going on, into high school. And when I graduated, I was about 220.
But no one wants to mess with you, which is great because then you sit there and drink. No one's kicking you out. You're good. It helps you
Yeah.
get, you get your lean on, and then it's just like,
Yeah.
Is that where Bear came from?
yeah.
Actually, Bear came from the movie Armageddon.
Oh wow.
Because I'm this big sensitive guy.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And they was like, that's just you. That's just like you, man. We can see you in leopard drawers. And I'm like, why you imagining me in leopard drawers?
That's funny, dude. So like my wife and I put together some names for like kids that we want to, like if we have a boy, there's two names. One's Bear and the other's Atlas. That's
Those are cool names. Right?
yeah, Bear is just good like Bear Grylls too, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
yeah.
no one's going to mess with a kid named Bear,
Yeah.
you know?
That's a cool name. Man.
Yeah, so did kids mess with you when you were younger? You said you when you're
Oh, yeah. We had one of my, man, I would tell you, when I got sober, and going to meetings and stuff, and having to talk about clearing the records of my past and different things like that. When they started talking about working a fourth step, and doing that kind of stuff. If you're familiar with the 12-step programs, people that are, I didn't understand that it was to help me to learn to forgive people that had wronged me in any way that I perceived had wronged me, and to find out like what my part was. So it was like, my worst year in school was my 4th grade year. We had these bullies in our class, and when I got to Facebook in 2010, I went and looked for like friends, we all did that, looking for like elementary school friends. We remember junior high school friends. Almost every one of them that was in that same class as me, we'll sit there and chat back and forth for a couple of minutes. And the next thing you know, you ever heard anything about those bullies?
Oh wow, everybody
That's how
knew.
much they fucking terrorized us. My 4th grade year, we had this teacher that was just like, I don't even know what he was doing. But it would get so bad sometimes, I have literally like just left school. There was one time I left school and went to my cousin's house, who lived maybe about 7 or 8 blocks from the school. And I just knocked on the door. She opened the door and I went in. I went straight to the kitchen and grabbed like the biggest knife she had. And I was ready to go back to the school and lay these cats to waste, yo.
What happened to them? Are they still around?
I don't know.
Oh wow!
I don't know.
See, I love those stories. Everybody that was an asshole to me in high school today, like now they work at Jiffy Lube, or they really just
Excuse me.
they're not a bully anymore. Pretty much, like
Sorry about that, man.
those guys probably didn't fare too well because those guys don't go very far.
Yeah, I mean, there was 2 that were like really bad ringleaders, and one of them, we were cool. We were cool as long as he wasn't around the other ones, So
So yeah, that's the 4th grade bully,
me.
the ringleader. So Bear, when you realized that you had a problem, You know, was this your first time getting sober? 9 years, or did you go to? Have you ever gone to meetings before this?
No, I never. You know, here's the deal. I went to when I got arrested back in 1990, 1991. I got arrested 3 days apart, back to back,
Oh wow.
and they were ready to send me up the road. And somebody had told me about drug court.
Okay.
And, you know, and it started in Miami with a guy named Stanley Goldstein. And I want to thank him for saving my life back then. But that was the first time that I didn't even get clean and sober, really, because I figured out how to use and stay clean enough to pass my drug test.
I think everybody. That's
you're an
addict-
alcoholic.
Yeah.
I never figured it out.
Like actually,
Yeah.
Einstein, I fucking came up with a way to stay
Yeah,
clean in my pee, but stay high in my brain.
Yeah.
You know.
It was I had to have three drug tests, but they couldn't be like consecutive days. So I would go Monday, Tuesday, and then Thursday. And then I could get high on Thursday
Yeah, because you're good till Monday.
and then clean myself out over the weekend.
Right.
Yeah.
But then that started getting to the point to where it would be like I'll get high on Thursday and Friday.
Oh,
And now
yeah.
I'm sitting there drinking pickle juice and cranberry juice and everything, trying to flush this stuff out.
That's fucked up. I've done
And
that.
but you know, finally, they would send you to TGK for detox, Turner Guilford Night detention facility, and which was like a big deal back then. It was like one of the newest jails and everything. And the last time I went to that detox, I had just got my income tax. And I was balling out of control. Bro. I had like $800. I'm like, yeah,
Yeah, this
this
like,
is cool.
I'm getting high for
Oh,
fucking
yeah.
2 days. I'm really high.
I went to court and they still put my ass in jail.
How long? This was the
That
6
was
months.
no, that was the 2 months. I had
Oh,
to do 6
shit.
months already. That's when I did the 6 months is when when I went to when I got out is how I went to the drug court.
Oh, got it.
So-
So they let you out drug court, and then you relapsed, and then you end up
Yes.
going for 2 months. I got you.
Well, I can't call it a relapse because I really never stopped. I was
Yeah.
just out for a couple of days and you know,
So how long until you got to meetings when you landed and you're like, I'm gonna go to meetings?
but I got I lost my mom in 2005. I lost a son in 2008.
Shit.
And I lost my dad in 2010. And I drank and drugged through it all. From 2005 to 2014, unless I was trying to like secure a job or something like that, or keep from getting thrown out of the house or something like that, you know, I would go a few months without using. And I couldn't see that I needed to just go. You know, I needed more than just saying I need to go and get help.
Yeah.
I needed more than that. I needed to know that, you know, even if I see it working for you, I need to know it could work for me. You know, so every holiday, every birthday, all of these different things, I would get absolutely shit-faced drunk and high as I could possibly get. And I was mourning, you know? So I could do that with impunity. Nobody's going to mess with a guy while he's mourning, right?
It's an
Yeah.
excuse.
So I got arrested on May 10th, 2014, which was Mother's Day Eve. I was already getting in my bag. And when I woke up, well, I came to Mother's Day morning, and I had nobody to come and bail me out of jail. nobody to come and bail me out of jail. And I was like, damn, look at this. This is my life, you know? And I started indulging in one of my first drugs of choice, which is self-pity. Oh, isn't it wonderful?
That's a good one.
I love self-pity. Oh, it's just so warm and squishy.
I was just having that drug this morning.
Yeah, you know,
Yeah.
it's a great one, man. Until people call you out on it, but that's another story right there.
Wow.
But I was sitting there, and the next day, which was about the 12th, they came around and was like, "We got a meeting coming in. Anybody want to go?" And I was like, "Ooh, yeah, I'll go to this meeting." They're gonna probably tell me like how I messed up my life and all of this good shit, make me feel real good, you know.
Yeah.
So I went to that meeting, and the guy didn't do that. He didn't. He told me, you know, he told the group what he did. He told us how he drank, how he used, how he womanized and gambled, and I was like, this guy, he did that, and now he's sitting here talking about how he took responsibility for his actions, and that really messed me up because I had never really seen anybody do that. Like, you know what I'm saying? I might see you messed up one day and then come back in another 6 months and you better, and I don't know exactly what happened, but I've never heard someone say I took responsibility for my actions and I started doing the work and you know, and I was like, what the fuck is he talking about? So I was like, you know what? I think I want that. So after that meeting, I went back to my cell and, you know, said, I'm gonna try this whole praying thing again, man, and see how it works out for me. Next thing you know, a guy came in, told me, said, man, you don't have nobody to bail you out. My girl is signed for you if you give us a couple, you know, give us a few dollars. And I was like, I got you. And I was like, yeah, there we go. God coming through for me finally, you know. No, idiot. I got got out of there, got to my old job. Child support hadn't caught up with me, took half of my check. I had an instant resentment. I went and paid who I needed to pay as far as my bail went, and I went and got drunk and high for the next couple of weeks until I couldn't do anymore, you know. And I got to the point to where I didn't want to live anymore.
I know
You
that
know,
feeling. I know
I was
that feeling.
I was at that place.
How old were you?
I was 44.
44.
Yeah, 44 years old. And I decided what I was going to do is just go ahead and last little money I had, I was just going to get as high as I could and go and rob the Kangaroo and let them shoot me.
What's the Kangaroo gas
That
station?
was the
The
gas
Circle K.
station. That was the Circle K before it was Circle K.
Should have gone like full armored truck. You know what I mean? Maybe you got a chance to get away. You know?
No, I didn't want to get away.
Oh,
bro.
got it. You were
I was
just
done.
one-way mission.
I was done. And I'm glad that my brother Will told me, say, man, you need to pray. I don't never hear you talk about praying anymore. You need to pray about that. And I was like, you don't tell me to pray. I'm the one that spent all the years Jehovah's Witness and stuff. You don't tell me to pray, you know. But I did, and something told me to find a meeting. And I walked my fat ass from Whispering Pines down to the Serenity Club. And there was some funny-looking people on the porch, but they looked like they were having a good time. Everybody was laughing and smoking, and it was like, hey, man, you look hot out there, man. Come on and get something cool to drink. And I walked in there, and there was a sign that says, you're not alone anymore.
Yep, I know that sign.
You're not alone anymore. That was the first thing I saw when I walked into the club. And I couldn't stop the tears from rolling down my face. I was like, man, how the fuck did they know how I was feeling? Because I felt like I had nobody, you know, but I had pushed everybody away,
Yeah.
you know. And it's not, I hate to hear people saying like, my family just abandoned me and all of this. My family stood by me through all of this, but they had to learn to. They have a term that they use called detached with love.
Yeah.
You know, they had to do that. That's what they detached with love, and they did that to me because they had to protect themselves from me. I had to rob them not of any. You know, one of my sisters, I used to take her change and stuff like that. And, you know, or if she had like a few dollars in her apron or whatever, I would take that. And I lived with her for a little while. And, she's the one that I put through the most, my sister Tisha. And at one point, me and my youngest daughter were living with her. And in a blackout, excuse me, in a blackout, I left some cocaine sitting on top of the television, and damn near tore my car up looking for that shit too, man.
That's funny.
I almost took the seats out
It's
of that.
on the
there.
fucking TV.
I hate that shit. Boy, that guy used to make me so mad when I would lose shit. But you know what? It'll be so, you'd be so happy when you find that shit. You know,
Sometimes you find extra shit somewhere.
Yeah. But I didn't remember having
Yeah.
this.
yeah.
So what is it like today? What's your life like today?
Man.
9 years clean and sober. Oh,
Bro.
hey, let me ask you a question before you tell me what it's like today. What do you think about people that say they're sober but they're smoking weed?
Now, you know what? I'm going to tell you like this. I had no clue that I didn't know what I was. And I didn't know how I was going to get help for it. And if I had any other chance, I probably would have took it. Now, when it comes down to working a program, a 12-step program especially, I've been masking and altering my feelings all my life,
Right.
whatever I could, you know. So if it comes down to, you know, if me and you have a problem, instead of like I could sit down and be like, Jeff, you know, he ate my lunch out of the refrigerator, and I was hungry, and he didn't care, and then you know what it affected my security and affected my pride. And then what was my part I played in it is I should have secured my lunch better,
Yeah.
you know?
Even though I was an asshole.
Either I'm going to do that, I have a choice between doing that or rolling a blunt. I'm going to smoke the blunt.
Yeah. The shortcut.
I'm not going to do the work that it takes for me to actually recover to the extent that I want to be recovered. I don't want to have to go through getting sober and clean again.
Yeah.
I'd rather just stay sober and clean. And as you know, I don't judge anybody for their journey.
Right.
You know, if you look at trees, certain trees, you got certain trees that just go straight up, no branches, just, and then they have, you know. But then you got some trees that you got shit just coming all up. You can't, it's still a tree.
Yeah.
And it still has a purpose. So no matter what somebody's road is, I believe they have that right to their journey. If someone wants me to sponsor them and they're still smoking, I explain to that. I explain them, you know, you're shortchanging yourself. Give yourself at least a year to work a good, clean, solid program. And if you don't like it after that, shit, do whatever you want to.
Yeah, that's a good
You
deal.
know,
It's
you
like
can smoke your damn kneecaps off for all I care.
I mean, if you like, I don't. If somebody doesn't really have a problem, like smoke all the weed you want. I think weed actually helps people. Like I do. I really think there's medicinal
It
properties.
helped me.
Yeah, but if you have a problem and you don't know how to, you don't have the coping skills to deal with anxiety or stress or fucking conflict, and you turn to the shortcut every time rather than dealing with life and going through normal life feelings, right? I feel like most addicts and alcoholics, we're pussies. We don't want to deal with life's feelings. We don't like being grown ups. You know?
Well, you know, I read in a book that alcoholics are undisciplined.
Yes.
We are undisciplined. And one of the things that I had to learn to do is first take the negative connotation off of discipline. And that was hard for me because I grew up getting my ass whooped. You know, and I'm talking about belt, shoe, extension cord, whatever it was to try to keep me in line, you know. So discipline was not a word I wanted to hear. But when I started understanding there's more to discipline than that proverbial rod that they talk about. Disciplining is when you see an athlete out there practicing, when you see the tennis player practicing that serve. So when they get into those matches, you know, it's natural for them to have that reaction. Even fighters, they practice those moves over and over so that they can be ready. So my disciplining and my practicing helps me for when I'm in situations that are uncomfortable. And that goes from being in, you know, I perform with a band sometimes now, or any bands around here that'll let me get on stage. And a lot of times I'm in bars, you know, and a lot of people ask, like, that doesn't trigger you? I'd be like, you damn right it triggers me, you know, especially when there's a beautiful girl who's like 3 sheets to the wind already talking about something buy her a shot. I'm like, nah, that's okay. I'm good, mama.
You're disciplined.
You know, but I've been taught different things to like, I can go wherever I want if I'm there for the right motives, and if I'm spiritually fit.
Yeah.
I can go anywhere I want. I have my cup. I take this cup every performance I go to. I got this cup, and when I'm not on stage or performing or whatever, I'm sitting there with this cup in my hand because people are less likely to try to put something in my hand.
That's discipline.
Or they want to buy me a drink or whatever, and you know, sometimes they're cool with it, or, oh, you don't drink, that's cool. But sometimes they're like, oh, come on, man, don't be a pussy.
Yeah.
It's not about being a pussy. I tell you what, why don't you give me the cash for the drink?
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Usually they walk off and leave me alone after that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
That's a good point.
So-
that's a good answer.
But I had to get to the, I had to learn to pray for willingness. I had to learn to pray for willingness, because if I had to do something begrudgingly, you know, like you'll hear people say, I don't care if you want to do it or not, do it. Trust the process.
Right.
I'm only going to trust the process so many times. And after that, I'm going to be like, fuck this. I don't like doing it. I'm not going to do it. So I had to start learning how to pray for the willingness to do things and not get that
immediate rush or immediate
You know
result.
what I'm saying?
I
Just
do.
taking.
That's discipline and trust and faith.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
you get that from like a sponsor. Like dude, this is perfect because I feel that same feeling when I met my sponsor and I was like, he has what I want. I finally believe that it could work for me too. And so I'm just going to do what this guy tells me to do because I got nothing better to do.
Yeah.
Every other direction I have is going to fuck my life up worse.
Yeah. I had a guy I still gravitate to the old timers. I still gravitate to the old timers. When I first got here, they would sit and they would say some of the coolest shit. Like, if you don't take the first drink, you won't get drunk.
Yeah.
And I was like, I can drink more than one. Like, no, you can't. They say this. Just understand, it's not the caboose that gets you; it's the engine. It's like, what the fuck are they talking about? And then after I sit there and think about it, it'd be like, the caboose. It's the engine that messes me up. Not, okay. So yeah.
My favorite one is if all you have to do is not drink before and after a meeting and make
Yeah.
it to a meeting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was always my favorite one. I'm like, okay, I can do that.
I can do that. It's so simple. Like we had a person on the meeting last night talking about how can they go out to bars and stuff and stay sober. I got sober at 23. So I spent a lot of time in bars. Like you're right, motives, right? I was just young, trying to go meet chicks and like, just trying to have a good time with my friends. But like you said, I always had something in my hand, a water, energy drink or something.
Yeah. And I thought, well, I first heard that I could use a fellowship as a substitute for drinking. And whenever I was having any kind of issues or whatever, I'll come and share about it. And I started, when I first got sober, I would sit there like, trying to, pretty much I was almost writing something to share, But eventually things started getting where it was to the point to where it's so painful that I stopped caring about what I sounded like. I was just like, okay, I need to get this shit out of me and let them tell me how to fix it. And I would say about a year in, maybe a year and a half in, and I started complaining about being bored. I would go into meetings and complain about being bored. And one of the old timers said, an old timer said, if you're bored in recovery, you're just boring.
Just like that.
That straight up.
Yeah.
I was like, who the fuck he think he talking to?
Yeah.
I'll go and kick his false leg off.
It's true. I mean, early
But it was
recovery is
true.
boring. Yeah.
It was true.
You got to learn how to have fun sober and be a different person.
My buddy, he passed away in January. God bless his soul. Greg. Greg said, man, what's the problem? What are you talking about? You bored? I say, man, I ain't gonna never get to go and do karaoke again. He said, man, I go karaoke almost every week. I was like, are you serious? I said, yeah. So I said, well, how I get to do that? He said, you want to go? I'll take you. I was like, okay. So he took me doing karaoke and took me to the VFW on a Sunday. And it was awesome, bro. It was so awesome. And I can't thank him enough for doing that for me, building that fellowship.
Yeah, that's big.
That is one of the. I'm so grateful that I took the time to go to so many meetings
Right.
and to not hold back on sharing about where I was at, exactly where I was at. If I was feeling good and proud about what I was doing or whatever. And I would go in, I would brag about whatever I was doing. And, you know, that taught me the shares after what I had to say would teach me to give my higher power the glory on that, you know? If somebody, and I learned, you know, to be humble, you know, trying to learning. I thought being humble was like not taking credit for stuff and all of that, you know, and that's not what being humble is all about. And I had to ask and find out, well, how do I, you know, practice humility? And I was told by an old timer, says, somebody compliments you, but who do you owe the credit? To whom do you owe the credit? You know, and that made me have to think about. So if somebody say they like a song that I sang, or they like my clothes, or whatever it is, you know, even though I got up and I dressed myself this morning, you know, I did it because I'm sober by the grace of God. You know?
Right.
Like, I guarantee you, everything I got on right now, I bought while I was sober.
Yeah.
But if I was using, I ain't trying to spend $75 on a pair of shoes when I can go and get me a 16.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And that's just the way that it is. I am so grateful. I'm so grateful to have the freedom that I have today from just life's bullshit. You know? And it's not that I'm immune to any of it. It's that I feel like I'm in a utopia.
Yeah.
You know, like not like my life is perfect, but my idea of utopia is a place that there's a solution for every problem. And I can honestly tell you today, so far, thank God, there's a solution for every problem that comes my way. And I'm grateful for that. Because and it even lets me know where I'm at on my spiritual being. Because if I'm looking at things, you'll hear people say stuff like, either I drink or I'm gonna die. They only have two choices right there, you know? I have been at that point where I've only had those two choices. And when I turn and I tell people my God lives in the pause. When I can stop and pause and ask for help, I start seeing more and more options of things that I can do.
Yeah.
You know? So I just try to remember that I'm not the guy that's in charge of all of this. That there's a bigger plan at work. And, you know, I don't believe that, you know, that there's some old guy up there just moving chess pieces around and all of that stuff. But I believe that deep down inside of all of us, we have this God consciousness. And when we align ourselves properly with him, we get to feel and be guided by it, you know.
Oh, I agree with that.
Yeah.
A lot.
Everything you just said was awesome.
Yeah.
And when I think of God, I don't think of like an old guy. I think of like he's got to be Asian because he's got to be doing a lot of shit at the same time. You know what I mean?
See, but
My
even,
God's Asian.
even with that, I had to think like, if he can see everything everywhere at all times, then he has to be some kind of a weird encapsulating
Right.
something or the other.
Like Korean.
You know,
I'm just fucking around,
just
but
humans.
it's true. Think
if
about it.
We look at a ball, we gonna have blind spots. How we gonna see it?
Yeah.
So we have to be all the way around. That's too much
true.
for me. I'm sorry.
Totally. I agree with that.
I just like to say, okay, he's a part of all of us.
But I love what you said about the utopia and just like my life isn't perfect today, but what's great is that I have a solution for every imperfection.
Every problem I
That
have
makes
comes-
me feel so much comfortable because sometimes some of the problems feel so surmountable. Like I'm not going to be able to get through this one, or this is something that's going to really wipe me out, and I don't have the energy in me.
Yeah.
And then you just have to ask God, your higher power, whatever you call it, for that power, right? Like it's in you.
Yeah.
I totally believe that you don't get dealt cards that you're not supposed to play, right? And so you just got to dig. And honestly, everything you just said right now fucking inspired me, man.
Yeah. Thank you. Man.
I'm fucking jacked up.
Thank you.
I drove in today and I was about to just go start swinging, and and then now I feel like okay, cool. I don't need to pick up the fucking. I don't need to do that. You
No.
know,
No,
right?
it's just that. It's, you know, and like as long as I'm willing to, my perception just keeps changing and growing, and different things. Like I have a new perception of perfection. You know, like people talk about the only perfect person was Jesus and all of this stuff. I'm not a Jesus freak or whatever.
Yeah.
But that's okay. I could be called a Jesus freak. That's all. I would love that. I've been called a cokehead before. The Jesus freak sounds a lot better. Jesus freaks looks a lot better on a resume than cokehead.
Yeah, that's
you know what I'm
true.
saying? I got you. I can live with that. But if you, and it's just let's just say, just for the fuck of it, that the Bible was written by some dude. So it's just this one guy that wrote a Bible with all of these different stories in it. If you read the stories of Jesus being perfect, he was a perfect little kid. But you ever heard of a perfect little kid? I would think like a perfect little kid would do like he would take shit and just
Right.
do the Mona Lisa on the wall.
He's just a kid.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
He's just a kid.
Yeah.
And it's evident if you read the Bible. Sometimes you can like when he turned the water into wine. He didn't say yes, ma'am. When his mom came to him, she says, we ran out of wine for the wedding. And he, being he was about 10 at the time, preteen, he says, woman, what problem of that is mine?
Damn.
What? But you can hear
My mom would
a
fuck
little
me up.
but can't you hear a little,
Yeah.
preteen
Yeah.
coming off like that?
My
Right.
mom would smack the shit out of me if I said, "Woman, what problem of that is mine?"
Yeah, but your mom
Knows that you're just a kid.
knows,
Yeah.
but she also knows who your daddy is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like she just woke up pregnant one damn
Yeah,
day.
yeah.
It's like, okay.
that's a good point. That's
Yeah.
a good point.
Yeah. So and then like when he had there's another one where he went in and they was selling sacrificial animals in the temple. You heard about the temple?
No.
Oh man, one of the greatest stories in the Bible is when Jesus lost his shit in the temple, yo.
And he just
He lost it. He cleared the temple. A one-man wrecking crew. He went in there, what are you doing to my father's house? And he started laying people to waste. Now, the way that they have it written in the Bible is like he just went in and was like, they said he was flipping tables and all of this stuff. And I had to stop and think about, can you imagine the perfect ass whooping?
That's it right there.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine the perfect cussing? Like if he cursed somebody out, because he lost his shit. I'm pretty sure people were running around there with blood coming out of their ears, and you know what I'm saying? And or like like John Jones is like one of my favorite MMA fighters. But I believe Jesus would whoop John Jones'
yeah.
ass.
What about Bill W? You think Bill W and Jesus
Bill
gets
W.
down?
God rest his soul. And I'm so grateful for the work that he was able to do, because without it, I wouldn't be sober now.
Honestly, think about all the lives, like literally
But he
hundreds
was
of
a
millions.
bum.
Yeah, for sure.
He was a bum.
100 plus million people's lives have changed because not only you, but your family, your sister, everybody.
That's another one. Another book. Let's just say that Bill Wilson had this great idea to write this book. And he just, went to a hotel somewhere and he sat there and he wrote this book. Or he pulled a Paul Sheldon and ran up into a Annie Wilkes somewhere up in the mountains, and she kept him there writing this damn book. Hobbled him or whatever. I don't know. But imagine that he wrote this book by himself, and all of it is bullshit.
Yeah.
Just imagine, like there's no Fred or there's no, anybody. All of these people are gone. We can't authenticate this.
Right.
But imagine it's still working. I can't deny that it's still working. Even if I want to say, if I want to discredit Bill by saying it's not an authentic book,
Yeah.
I can't take away the fact that all of these people have been helped by, including me.
All three of us.
Yeah.
Right? The only reason we're here and not in jail.
I
or
like that
fucking
point.
Things up.
The point that you made, and it not only helped me, it's helped me gain relationships back with my parents, and then
Absolutely.
it's also helped my friends and family, and it's still helping.
Yeah.
That's incredible. I didn't really think of it that way. I think of it as, it's helping millions of people in the last 100 years, but the effects that it's had on those other people that are
And
bystanders.
Only an addict or an active alcoholic will argue against something with so much evidence. Being
Right.
like, oh my God, look at all these 100 million people that have been changed by this. And they're like, nope, it won't work for me.
Yeah.
But the thing
That's true.
that really gets me is that I can't deny that it works.
Yeah. That's the only thing that
I
works.
can't deny that it works. And I'm telling you that it works because it's working for me. And I couldn't go. There was a time when I tried to go 3 hours without drinking. My daughter, when she was in kindergarten, my youngest daughter, Metalicia, she was in kindergarten, and me and her mom had just broken up, and I was so worried about this kid that I started volunteering at the school with her. And one day after the school, we saw this sign that said Drama Kids. And she was like, "What's that, Daddy?" I was like, "I don't know." She said, "Can I go see?" Because she could hear like other little kids in this classroom having a good time or whatever. I was like, "Yeah, go and see." So we went over there, and there were being trees. All these kids in there, the teacher had them being trees. And she said, "We're going to start off as seeds. And now you're going to grow into a plant, and you're getting taller and taller." Oh, long story. Class is like $80 a month. And they only met like every Wednesday for like an hour. I was like, $80, that's a lot of cocaine. Baby, you can't do this little class. I'm sorry. Yeah. This is not going to happen. I can't afford it. And she says, "Can I go and talk to the teacher?" And I was like, "Go right on ahead, whatever." She went in there. She came back and had a scholarship, bro.
Oh, wow.
Oh, no.
She said, "Yeah, we just want her in the class.
Hustler.
You don't have to put, yeah,
Hustler.
it's bad to the bone." So she did this, and what happened was they were practicing the play, The Ants and the Grasshoppers, and she learned every line of that play. And when it was time for them to put on that play, I got off of work at 4:00, and the play was at 7. And she asked me, "Dad, will you not drink that day. And I was like, yeah, no problem, you know. And on my way from work, I stopped and grabbed 2 tall boys. And I drank them before the play. And I didn't get in there and act a fool. I didn't fall over any chairs or anything like that. Or, that's my baby! You know, I had none of that shit. I went and I sat and I listened and I was just amazed, and it was so beautiful to see these kids and having them a good time, and my baby up there, a nurse aunt, and she had her little lines. And after everything was over, when she came down and she hugged her mom and her sister or whatever, and then she came over to me and was so happy to see me, and she gave me this big old hug and then pulled back. And when she pulled back, she looked me in the eyes. And I'll never forget that look, bro. She looked at me like, you sorry motherfucker. The one thing I asked you to not do,
Wow.
you did it. And I say, man, I can't go 3 hours, even with the most inspiration I need. My baby girl, I couldn't do it for her.
Yeah.
So for me to be able to be here right now with 9 years, that's nothing but
Miracle.
Something
it's
greater than yourself.
Nothing shorter than a miracle, bro.
Yeah.
Something greater than yourself.
Nothing shorter than a miracle, you know. And I can't give, you know. I like I said, I don't corner the market on God or anything like that, but I can't help but to tell you that my God is a wonderful God.
If you had a pitch for somebody that's out there struggling right now, you know, that was where you're at, or I know you've seen a lot of people come in and out of these rooms, and you had to give them a 1 to 2 minute pitch on what works, what would you say to them? Look at that camera right there.
We end every
yeah.
show like this. This is how we end every show. You got to pitch someone on getting sober if they're struggling or they don't got the courage.
Yeah, keep coming back. That's it. Give yourself a chance to recover and keep coming back. Maybe you'll hear something that you need to hear, and be willing to take a chance on yourself, because that's what I did, and I can't tell you how much. And one of the biggest words that I've had to include in my vocabulary is maybe. You know, maybe it will work. You know, maybe I can get better. You know, and it comes from a place of hope, and that's it. I get and everything you need to recover is in you already. You don't have to go and pay $60,000 anywhere. You don't have to go and nothing. There's nothing I had to do other than be willing to do it. As long as I was quitting, I couldn't stop. But once I stopped, I was able to quit. And that worked.
That's good.
Yeah.
Thank you, Bear.
Yeah, man.
We appreciate you.
Bear,
Yeah, man.
I'm glad you came on, dude. You're an inspiration.
Well, thank
And
you,
so
man.
you guys know, Bear is a fucking great dude. He's active in the community. He helps other people. He gives so much. He's a huge staple in the recovery community here. And that's what happens. You get sober, you have a really rough time, and then your life gets good and you have purpose. You know, you live for something and you make a positive impact. And I'm grateful. I look up to you, Bear.
I appreciate it. I had to say too that I had no intentions of getting sober. I came to the club because I didn't know what else to do. But when I looked up the club that morning of June 6th, 2014, it said something about rent. And I went there to try to see what they were talking about as far as paying rent, because I needed some help with the rent right there. I had no intentions on getting sober. I just wanted to not get in trouble so much, you know?
And now look.
And yeah, I heard, I heard exactly what I needed to hear. And I struggled for a year and a half with the drink. I struggled, like wanting to drink. I even got to the point where I had to like just lose my shit in a meeting one night. And it worked. It worked because somebody came to me with the insight that I needed to help me get to the point to where I stopped struggling. You know?
I love that.
So keep coming. Give yourself a chance. And don't worry about the cliches, you know?
Right. Maybe it'll work.
Maybe it'll work. Maybe.
It will
That
work
was it.
if you do the fucking work. You know?
Give yourself a chance.
There it is. Thank you guys for watching, supporting us. Bear, thank you for coming, man.
Thank you, brother.
Great story. I feel better already, man.
Thank you, my brother.
All right, guys. See you soon.
Yes.
Bye-bye.